Alright. We ain't got no music, we ain't got no shenanigans, we ain't got shit.
Straight to the point.
Alright. At least we still matching with our shoes. We both got on jeans. You got on jeans?
I do. I keep my nice jeans.
I brought one pair of nice jeans just in case we went somewhere. We just went to your basement.
Hello.
What's cracking?
As you may or may not know at this point, we are
I'm Mike.
Gerald, and I'm Gerald. And we're the Clay siblings. And we're together. And she's in Philly, she's Gerald.
When I'm here though.
When she's here though, she's
Alright. So
and,
but
good.
I think that it's really funny, because we kind of shot our previous video around this time last year. Like really right around
It may have
this.
been a little more last minute, like the rest of the stuff.
But it's really cool to be able to reflect. This is our third year doing the project, and just all the things that have happened, responding to some of the things that we didn't anticipate that have kind of been beautiful successes in the most recent couple of months, and just trying to see.
Y'all have been great, by the way. Like the support has been phenomenal. Really shirts are just.
Boy, you know, if you don't have yours yet, you know this is.
At this point, it might be sold out. You just gotta recheck the numbers.
But yeah, so I think just first and foremost, like just doing the run through, like of like what Clay siblings is, like, you know, I think that me and Mike constantly are reevaluating how this project can grow, but still sticking to our core. So, Mike, to you, what is the Clay siblings / what is the Clay Sibling project? Because technically they're the same thing, but I think that they have some differentiations.
So after the first year of NCECA and doing the Clay siblings, I got sick and tired of explaining what Clay siblings is. I'll be so honest, because you just get like so many people, and then like you come home, you try to explain to like your family that has like very little indication of what like Clay and workshops particularly are.
It's just trying to figure out what's a craft school and what's
my go-to is like we do free workshops at high schools.
Yep.
And then then they ask what a workshop is, and it's just like. Okay.
Yeah.
But for me, Clay siblings is it's a way of passing down. I went to undergrad. Fortunately, this probably we would have never existed if this wasn't the case at Syracuse. But our grad students were like basically in the same environment as we were. And I know at some universities, grad students are like over there doing their own thing because they're grad students, and then undergrads over here. Yeah, I will get there at some point, but you're not there yet.
Yeah.
And at Syracuse, I was very fortunate enough to have a lot of basically older siblings, mentors. And if I name one, I know I got to name the rest of them, so I'm not going to do that. But one in particular that really acted like an older brother and taught me everything that he knows was Pete Smith, and he learned under Randy Johnson, which is one of my favorite artists. So just having access to Pete Smith, where he's around for like just throwing advice, hand building advice, wood fire advice, because the dude's a freaking beast at firing wood kilns. And of course, Gerald talks about her experience with her sort of older sibling and stuff, and we kind of remembered that we discovered Clay at university. And it was like, well, that's kind of sad that we went all those years without someone,
18 to be exact, yo.
without someone being like, and like we knew what Clay was and stuff, but like it wasn't on some you could do this like in terms of as like a career path, or you could be extremely passionate about it and like you could just be an enthusiast to some degree.
Totally.
So we really were interested in bringing that energy into high schools, especially with the high schools that I went to. That energy wasn't there whatsoever. And around the people that I grew up with, it was more so, the cliche sort of careers that make you a lot of money and stuff like that. But happiness was never a question that was put in the air. Typically, money equated to happiness because, you don't have a lot of money and a lot of your problems come from it. So you just assume with that problem fixed, then you just. And so, I don't know. It challenged the way that I thought about a lot of things. And I'm constantly learning. Right now we're in my studio, my up and coming. I will post it on Instagram. But there's just a couple, you know, we just gonna let the special ones see it as of right now. It's a little bit of a mess, so they understand the context. But this is like
It's
my
really
little
good.
wall of fame here, and I got to.
Shorty hair look mad good, yo.
I know. She's like a really dope artist too. She's in
Yo.
like magazines and shit. She's all over the world. But I actually got a nice little package. It was yesterday. Before
yesterday.
I had went to an after-school program, and I did clay siblings there. And I had, you know, emailed these people, and they were just like, "What? You want to do free workshops with our kids?" And they were like, "Why?" And that's typically what we get. Like, why? What's up? Like,
I got some creeps, yo.
right. Or how much is it? That's the first thing we get. How much is it? And so,
Or the next thing is like, oh well, our kids don't do clay. Like,
right.
oh, but we'll bring the clay.
We'll
Oh,
bring
wait.
And they're just like, there's no way out of this. And so like, there are a lot of times we give those people a hard time because like, they just kind of want to be like, no, because I don't want to deal with that. But we give them no reason to skip out on us.
Yeah.
No matter like what. So I went to that after school program and spent some time with those kids. And at first it was like they were a little wary about it, but you know, once you know I got in and like the clay was out and the kids were having fun, and I posted on my Instagram actually like.
And on
pictures,
Clay Siblings too.
Clay Siblings account. Follow Clay Siblings.
And,
But yeah, it was a great time and everything, and then you know I get a nice little package with you know Advocate shirt, and I wish I had it on me so I could show it, but you know all the kids wrote a nice little thank you, and a lot of times I get the question, oh, so you get paid doing this, like you know whether we sell the shirts or you know we're grants and things like that, but I say no, it's a passion project, and people are just kind of like, why the fuck are you doing it? They think, are we swearing this?
Well, we already did.
They're just like, so why the hell are you doing it if it's not for money? And it's just like, it's for that right there. Like that is worth way more than any amount of money that you know I can receive, to know that to some degree I enlightened, or you know just these kids had a great time. And so like you know just to see that, and then like they have the pictures of me with the kids and things, like it's just, that's what makes it worth it. And I think you know there's no reason for us to be poor, so down the line, you know, if anybody want to throw us some cash to do this, you know, hardcore,
we ain't gonna change our hearts, but
right,
you know,
the
maybe
sentiment,
I won't have holes in my shit.
right, the sentiment doesn't change, but like you know the passion stays there and everything. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing, and I love doing it, and I wouldn't trade for anything. The stress, all of the jazz, for the whole year of emailing and printing shirts and doing all that is completely worth it when it comes down to like those moments right there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree better, brother. You know, Mike mentioned how Pete Smith was like his mentor while we were at Syracuse, and it's funny because another faculty member there, Dr. Sharif Bey, he kind of acted as like a clay uncle to a lot of us and a lot of the grad students, because he's like always around working on stuff. And also within that circle was another grad student named Daniel Ruggiero, who was kind of also like the clay sister for me. And so Pete and Daniel Ruggiero were kind of like the same year within grad school, and then Pete was Mike's mentor and Daniel was mine, so we kind of like inherited this like clay sibling kind of relationship.
And around that time, that's when, right before that time, that's when Gerald had started working more.
Yeah, exactly. And so, in addition to just kind of hanging out with Danielle and getting to know Dr. Bey, Mike became like a real critical part of my experience at SU. Around my my sophomore spring, I ended up taking my first Will Throwing class with Peter B. Sicker, and then going to NCCA for my first time during the 50th year, and then ended up getting a scholarship to go to Haystack that following summer. So it was just kind of like this huge domino effect, and me falling deeper and deeper in love with this material. And you know, I realized that upcoming fall, I really didn't have any clay classes on my schedule. I had one hand building class, but I didn't have anything else. And I ended up dropping some other class, taking another Will Throwing class with Dr. Bey. I was doing a sculpture class. I was also making busts around that time. And everything just kind of really shifted for me. And for the better, like, I started to understand more about what I wanted for my own practice, but I also was deeply confused about how does this material intersect with my life. Clearly it's calling me in different directions and I'm flying across the world to do different things, but I was still pretty lost. And throughout that whole process of me trying to figure out how to move through this material, but also figure out my own path and developing stronger skill sets, Mike was there through the whole time. And one of the biggest questions people always ask is like, what's a clay sibling? And it's like so hard to define it because a lot of times people think that me and Mike are related, even though it is in our eyes.
Right.
But it's really about this deeper kinship that you have with another individual, where you could just be you 100% of the time. You can just talk about what it means to want to pursue art, and they kind of understand you, but then they also push against you and challenge you to do things. And we're just both bonded by this material and want to explore and become more aware of like how it just activates the space. And so Mike has been there through me through thick and thin. He can tell you tons of stories about the ways in which I felt like maybe I wanted to quit.
And what's interesting is like Gerald's out here to visit. We're in my house right now, my parents' house in Rhode Island. And,
shout out to the fam.
Right. And we're just going through these scenarios because like when you're in school, you do things and a lot of times they're out of desperation, but it's just necessary in that moment. But we were just chopping it up and we're talking about things that we did that was just like, why the hell would we put our bodies and minds through all of that stress? But that's what makes us like.
Yeah, man. And I think it was just like the bond when we knew like, okay, if Mike's gonna be there with me or if Gerald's gonna be there with me, then okay, maybe we could kind of pull it off. And we did pull it off, but then when we look back, it's like, damn, bro, maybe we could have did it a different way.
Like that whole like junior, it was a spring.
All junior, just junior, throw that.
I gotta take a few. One thing that I always thought about, that I loved about this project, is that there's no egos in place. Like there's no look what I can do, look what I've done type deals. Like everything is just like I'm willing to learn, like throughout the whole journey. And I think that's super special, especially when you're going into high schools and you're showing these kids something like this, especially when you're on the wheel. I feel like a lot of times people treat it like a magic trick, like look what I can do. Ooh, I just changed it. It went this way when you thought it was gonna fall or whatever. And being just completely transparent with the kids and like, this is not easy at all, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I think that it's like why we even started that challenge on Instagram for like my first time. It's not to like, sometimes people are so quick to just kind of show how much like successes they gain and like where they're at, and you're very much like in the right mind to do that because you've worked for everything. But sometimes people don't know how to get from where they are to like where they see you at. And so by no means me and Mike are successful in it. Like we still have so much to learn and gain, but we just wanted to take a moment to like have like a moment to share how we got into this and what called us to this moment, and hear other people. Like I really appreciate Brian Hopkins like telling us about how he would just
Simon
like
on like too, up on him and stuff.
Yeah, and he was like taking a math question, like found this. So I think that that's been one of the motivators for us to like want to share more videos like this, so we can just kind of tell you more about like why we're doing this project and how this is benefiting other people, and show you some of the things that we're doing along the way, but also just kind of create more of those humbling moments and kind of a library. I think you talked about that.
Right. I talk like the reason why we use that hashtag is so that when we go to these high schools, the kids can look up to us, because they have Instagram. They can look up and they can go through that, because we're constantly going back and forth on how we can improve the program or have more people be a part of it and stuff. And one thing is like, okay, well, the reason why we're doing it is because we're not that far from their age, so we understand where they're coming from and their perspective, and from that perspective we can start to cover different questions that they may come up with. So that it's like, okay, you guys did it in college, you guys graduated, but now what's beyond this? And it's just like, not only do we want to show that you don't have to go to college to necessarily even do it, but also have voices that have been doing it for a longer period of time, and they tell their story. It's like, everyone did start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, you know, having Simon and Brian, who are, you know, juggernauts in the clay world, talk
And
about
Dr. Bay, Paul
right,
Briggs,
Dr. Bay,
like
Paul Briggs,
it
right.
was just like
Right, so it's
heavy
like-
hitter at the
right.
heavy hitter, yo.
Right.
So definitely thank you guys so much for supporting us. We're hoping to do more videos like this as we travel around the country, meeting new people, exploring new things, and as we like even have some other reunions in the works. We're hoping to share share our journey with you guys, and you see how this community is for everyone.
Super supportive too. Like, I think it's another thing that I have to say, like, I've never been a part of any other, like, you know, or been like super into any other communities like that. Like, I've done things but haven't involved other people, but like this community is phenomenal. Like, the way that, like, you could be in Seek, and it's like rule number one is know what your artists look like. You could just go up to them and just shake their hand. They're just like, oh my god, yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Or ask them a question,
Right,
you know,
about like their glaze or something, and they'll spill it out, and it's just like there's no sense of like, well, if I tell them, then I won't have that secret anymore. Like, nothing's just like, things are just like, it's like a community, and it's a beautiful thing, you know.
So
Super.
definitely follow us, @Clay Siblings on Instagram, and look out for more stuff.
Right, check out our website too, because we got a whole bunch more about, you know, stuff on there. And